Hey guys, what's going on? Arman here, and today I'm going to be talking about something very important for Armenia, and it's all about freedom and freedom of speech and the slippery slope that we are experiencing, where it's actually very on its way to disappearing in Armenia, and that's a huge bad thing that happens to our country. Let me tell you two examples of how they're violating freedom of speech, and there's probably way more. But right now, there is many political prisoners in Armenia that spoke out against the government, and they're in prison right now. And that's ridiculous. I will leave an article. It's the 301 team, 301 media team did a great job. I'll leave it below. You can see that all the people are jailed politically right now. It's ridiculous. Uh, so that's the first example. It was like, that's just ridiculous by its own fact. By the way, it's kind of very similar to what they're trying to do with Trump in the States. But I digress. So that's the first example that they don't like the current government. If they don't like something, they're gonna put you in jail, or if you're conspiring or criticizing or conspiring to get them out, whatever. They're putting you in jail. So that's the first bad example, bad action mistake that they are doing currently. The second one is denying entry to people in overall. So they've denied entry recently to Viktor Krivopuskov, who was a Artsakh advocate. They've denied entry to Armenians, diasporans before, and I think that's ridiculous. I think that's completely ridiculous. And I think that if they continue this way, we are going to move into some sort of dictatorship, and nobody wants that. And so I have solutions for this, and I want to talk to you about this. Okay, it just if we move out, if we what can go wrong if we don't do something about this, right? Well, again, as I said, we can go into some sort of dictatorship. People can speak up. People cannot raise concerns. Things cannot get solved. The government won't have accountability. So it's extremely bad. It's extremely bad. They can get away with anything. They don't need to listen. This, that, the other, right? So that's extremely bad. I think we all agree that we don't want a dictatorship in Armenia. What can we do about this? Okay. First of all, we need to speak up. Okay, we all need to speak up. Whether you're in Armenia or in the diaspora, you need to speak up. In my situation, uh, I am a diasporan. I don't have businesses in the States, but I still come. I don't have businesses in Armenia, but I have them in the States. But I come. Um, to Armenia frequently. I love Armenia. Love my country. I would do anything for her, and I think a lot of us are feeling like that, right? So I think there is a lot of people who are afraid. I think there's a lot of people afraid, both on the diasporans and actual locals, right? So obviously, if you're a diasporan, you fear certain things. You fear being denied entry. You feel, you could, for example, get repercussions in other ways, right? I don't know. Maybe denied entry is probably the biggest one that you can think of because you're a diasporan. I mean, what else can they do for you? But I think first of all, if you're denied entry, let's just talk about that. It just makes you more famous. So that's something they probably didn't intend, but it's actually happening. So your impact actually gets increased, and I think it's a so not only your impact increases, but your cause, and I think it's a privilege, and I think your cause overall, your purpose gets more momentum. So I just think it's like they don't they didn't intend for that to happen, but I think that's actually what's happening. So like if you're a diasporan, I don't think you have anything to lose really from criticizing the current government and the things that are going wrong. Okay, and that's what we need to do. That's what I'm doing. and that's what you guys need to do. Um, and that's it. Why do you why? Because if you don't do it, we don't do it. Maybe your kids, or maybe sooner, will live in a freaking dictatorship in Armenia, and we don't want that. So we have to stand up right now. We have to stand up right now. So I really think people in the diaspora have no excuse to stand up, even when they're in Armenia. I'm in Armenia right now, guys. Like, I'm in Armenia right now, and I'm telling you guys that the stuff that the current government is doing is they shouldn't be doing, is wrong, and they have to rectify. And if we don't have more people like me, or like us, then we are gonna have problems. So that's if you are in the diaspora, okay? If you are in Armenia proper, you are actually Armenian, you live in Armenia, um, you may have businesses. I've talked to some of you guys. You have businesses in Armenia, you have jobs in Armenia, you have interests in Armenia. So you feel like you can't speak up because you will be financially affected by this, and the livelihood of your family will be affected. But while that may be true, while that may happen as the worst case scenario, the consequence of not speaking up is way bigger in a bad way than the consequence of you speaking up. The more locals and the more diasporans, but let's just say probably the people that have a harder time speaking out are the actual locals here in Armenia. The more you guys don't speak out, uh, the less you guys speak out, the less people, the more they can get away with it. It's just as simple as that. So if I'm talking to a business owner right now, which I'm picturing some of you, it's like, if you don't stand up for yourself and for what's wrong and for what's being done wrong in our country, how do you expect things to change and improve? If you don't hold them accountable, you don't stand up for what you think is being wrong. Like, how are things going to change? How are you going to hold them accountable? And how is this going to get any better? You just think that by no criticizing, you're just thinking short term. I think ultimately people who are afraid to criticize are thinking short term and not thinking long term, because long term the consequences or of not speaking out are worse. Okay. And uh I think for legacy, for history purposes, speaking out is the right thing to do. And I also think that for the people here in Armenia, I think there's actually probably some legal ways and some business strategies that you can implement to be less affected. And I think that's part of the things that you should do, right? Like, you probably know what I mean, right? But like, there is ways where you can be more protected against whatever they can do with you here in Armenia. But the more people, you guys know the movie, right? Like the movie where they can break one arrow, they put, like, I don't know, 40 arrows together, and that can't be broken. That's what we actually need to build. We need to build local leaders, Armenian local leaders, business people, influencers that are not afraid to speak out. If you're not afraid to speak out, and we're a lot of them, they can't mess with us. They can't mess with us, and they have to listen to us, and they have to be accountable for their actions. Otherwise, they're gonna lose their power, and they're gonna pay for what they've done. So I just want you guys to band together. I just want you guys to speak out. I am speaking out. I've purposely not spoken out. Uh, I've purposely not spoken out publicly in a video like this, because I also had to come to that point where I realized that, listen, if we don't speak out, it's just gonna get worse. And so I had to make that realization myself first, and then say, hey guys, this is what we should actually do. Okay, so why is it the right thing for you to do? First of all, this is the only way you can actually punish. You can actually, we don't want to punish Armenia. We want to punish the current government. So we want to be careful about that, right? You still want to do good things for Armenia. You still want, you still love your country, but the government might interfere with the best for our nation, right? And so, how do you punish the government? You punish the government by speaking out, mainly by speaking out, guys. I think it truly by speaking out yourself, by putting up a video, by putting an article, by letting your community know, letting your people know publicly that what they're doing is wrong. Whether it's with this, the freedoms that they're violating, that's actually going to go to a worse if we don't do anything about it, or whether it's some of the other policies that they're messing up on. Okay, so speaking out is the best one. If you're a local, obviously voting has power, but I think speaking out has also very high power. And so there's probably more ways we can actually punish the current government. I want you guys to think about them. Let me know. But those are the two main ones that come for me. And ultimately, if you don't speak out, here's what's going to happen. Again, people coming after you, maybe your kids, maybe your future generations won't be able to enjoy Armenia as you're enjoying it now. They won't be able to, they'll be able to, live in a dictatorship, and all these bad things. It's also the right thing to do, and it's also good for yourself right now, today. You speaking out, it's also good for you right now, today, because it will help you, it will help you get things done and get things done faster. I mean, I don't think I need to explain that anymore. So ultimately, those were my notes. I really hope people think, especially in Armenia, also think about, they can get smart, and protect their assets, but they need to speak out. They need to speak out. We need to speak out. Everyone needs to speak out. And when something is wrong, you have to speak out about it so it gets better. And so you get, so things change ultimately. I think that is pretty much it. Just there's probably better things that we can also do apart from standing out and thinking for yourself. But that's it, guys. Like, I really want to challenge everyone that's in the diaspora. That, I just don't get into politics. Well, if the politics are affecting your country and your nation and it's going to worse, are you going to let that happen and slide, or are you going to do something about it? Right? I think we have learned, thankfully, me at a young age, but some people are in the 50s, 60s, 70s. We have learned that if you don't get involved in politics, they're going to do whatever the heck they want, and it's going to actually not benefit you or your nation, and it might actually play against your interests. So I think it's actually the opposite. We have to get involved, otherwise these tyrants are going to take over and raise everything to the ground, and we don't want that. So get involved, speak out, be smart about, and be smart about, like, how you allocate your assets and how you can protect yourself, because yes, that might be something that can happen to you, but be on the right side of history, be brave, stand out against the things that are wrong with the current government, because if nobody stands out, nothing changes, and they get away with ruining our nation. And so I think that's the ultimate message that I want to share with you guys. Stand out, do the right thing, speak out if you see that something is wrong, exercise your freedoms, because if you don't exercise them, you'll lose them. We'll all lose them. And so with that, my one call to action for everyone, whether you're in Armenia or in the diaspora, is to again, speak out, whatever format you want to use. Speak out, speak your mind. Don't be afraid of the consequences, because if you don't speak out, the consequences will be worse. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. That's it. Hope this video helps. Let me know if you have any feedback. If you think more people in our nation should hear this, share this, and we'll talk soon. Have a great day.